Hi everyone! This is my review of the Rolex GMT Master 2 reference 116710LN. This was my first important watch. I bought it almost 5 years ago, in August 2011. Even though after this I bought some other watches and the collection grew, the GMT holds a special place in it. I believe I will never sell it. Let's begin with a little bit of history. This model is just the last one in a long lineage of travel Rolexes. The first GMT, the name obviously coming from Greenwich Mean Time, was in fact born when Pan American Airlines asked Rolex to build a watch capable of displaying multiple time zones at the same time. The result of this request was the 6542, basically a turnograph reference 6202, with the same 38mm stainless steel case, but with modified bezel and movement. This first model already defined in 1954 what would have been the main characteristics of the GMT: the fourth hand for the second time zone and the 24 hours bezel. This bezel, at first, was made of red and blue bakelite, a not so robust luminescent plastic material, replaced gradually from 1956 with more resistant but not luminescent metallic bezels. The lucky ones that didn't replace their bakelite discs today have in their hands a piece of horological history with a much higher value. Nickname of the 6542 with the bakelite bezel is Pussy Galore from the 1964 movie 007 Goldfinger, where Honor Blackman's character, Goldfinger's pilot, wears the GMT during the entire movie. In 1959, Rolex presented the 1675. With a 40mm case, it is the GMT that had the longest life. It has been in production until 1980. It encased 2 movements and it got versions in gold, steel and gold, with a leather strap and with a Jubilee bracelet. In relation to my GMT, we could say that the 1675 was the first chromatically similar ancestor since the all-black bezel first appeared on it in 1972. References 16750, 16760, 16700 and 16710 then followed and sometimes overlapped from 1981 to 2007, introducing down the road many important novelties like 5 calibers, sapphire glass, luminova instead of tritium, and also new bezels like the famous red and black one called Coke. In 2007, this reference saw the light. It's the 116710LN, with LN standing for Lunette Noire, black bezel in French. This GMT brings with it maybe the most epic change in the history of this model, probably equal to the one between the 6542 and the 1675. The case still measures 40mm, but the proportions visibly changed. The larger lugs in particular make it look bigger and bulkier. Aside from the case, the most obvious change is the at this point not so new Cerachron bezel, presented in 2005 on the yellow gold with green dial version for the 50th anniversary of the model. This bezel is made of a patented ceramic alloy that gives it a great resistance to the effects of time and exposure to the elements, that, as we saw on the metallic discs of the previous generation, can change the colors drastically. The numbers and the triangle up here are filled with a PVD treatment using pulverized platinum. About the movement, it is the COSC certified automatic caliber 3186. With pyrochrome blue hairspring, almost completely insensitive to the variations in temperature and to the magnetic fields. Although this movement was officially introduced with this reference, it has been found in some of the last watches produced of the previous generation. It has a 48 hours power reserve and it has hacking seconds and instantaneous date. Compared to the predecessor, other changes are, for example, the triplock screw-down crown instead of the twin-lock. Strangely enough though, even though it's technically the same of the Submariner, the water resistance is limited to 100 meters instead of the 300 of the Sub. The bracelet has changed, it is much more robust, It has an oyster lock clasp with the EasyLink half-link extension and the polished center link. This makes it maybe a little bit too delicate, especially on the clasp, where all the scratches concentrate. Aesthetically though, I think that the polished center link helps to lighten the visual impact on the wider lugs. It might be just me, but I think that, for example, on the Submariner, they look even bigger. In 2013, Rolex presented another version of the steel GMT, the 116-710 BL-NR, Bleu et Noir, with blue and black bezel. It is also called Batman, maybe to keep the superhero theme going, as with the green Submariner called Hulk. Despite the €500 premium over this black bezel version, it had a very successful start and it has been distributed in not so large numbers, so sometimes it became not so easy to find. In 2014, Rolex let down a lot of people, presenting in Baselworld the hugely anticipated Pepsi version with the red and blue bezel, except that they made it in white gold for a price tag of more than €35,000. On the wrist, the GMT gives the classic Rolex feeling. It's heavy enough to give the wearer a sense of substance and durability, but not heavy enough to be uncomfortable. It's not an extremely eye-catching watch, but it certainly is much more than its predecessors. Much less shiny and bulky. Even treating it without too much attention, I think this could make a great companion for many, many years to come. Even more than the models from the past proved to be capable of. For a lot of people, this could be the only watch, and I have no doubts that the GMT would certainly be up for the task. To conclude, many people think that the more squared lines of the new Rolexes are too heavy and much less harmonious compared with the older references. Personally, I think that this is partially true, but I also think that you can't keep offering pretty much the same product for more than 50 years without considering the growing demand for technical and qualitative improvements and for the inevitable changes in the aesthetic sensibility of the public. Retail price here in Italy for this GMT Master 2 reference 116-710 LN is €7,800. Thank you for your attention. Please subscribe to my channel for more watch reviews and leave a comment to let me know what you think. Bye!